Sweet Mother of Mothra, I'm Anthony.
I'm David.
I'm Kirby.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Jim.
Welcome to issue number 135 of the Crimson Cowl Comic Club podcast. Each and every week we meet here to talk about comic books. In this episode, we have a couple different segments. We're going to do the weekly reviews. We're going to go all around the internet, talk about the books that we've been reading, whether they're old or new. Then we're going to jump over to the letters page, which we will cover this week's question for everybody here and everybody listening at home or watching at home. What comic book supervillain could you personally defeat? Then over in the news, we will talk about the Marvel and DC previews items in the current ordering catalog. But before we jump into the weekly reviews, if you're watching the video portion and you're listening and maybe hear some car sounds in the background here and there, we're going to cut over to David because he's our correspondent, broadcasting live, reporting live from his driveway.
That is correct. Reporting live from my driveway. We're having our Great Purge rummage sale for the store, where we're trying to reduce a lot of that inventory that we have left over from our store days. You know, back when we actually had a comic book store. A lot of it. Well, I'll say a small portion of it is out my driveway, and it's put out for sale. Throughout the day, I've been bringing more and more out. We're doing this tomorrow as well, and the plan is to do this at least once a month throughout the summer and possibly into like September. You know, probably earlier before the weather starts getting bad and too unpredictable. And so that's what we're doing here. So by the time you see this, it'll probably be too late to get out here and get anything, but definitely keep an eye on our Facebook page, because we will post these events that we're having, and we're having some really great deals. We've had a number of people come through here with some nice fat stacks of stuff that they got great deals on. So it's been great. Wonder if I can move this here and just
Get a lay of the land.
It's one side of it, and see, there's the garage. Hey, Kurt.
Is that Kurt on the Comic Club?
Kurt is actually here, and he's on the video. Wow, being joined by Kurt. Yeah, so there's more stuff down there. We spread it out a little bit to try and accommodate people who want to do their social distancing and everything like that. So we didn't clump everything right together, and it's worked out pretty good. Even at our peak times of the day, we haven't had a lot of people just packed together. They've been able to space out and get their things taken care of and not have to worry about having everybody else just piled on top of each other, which happens a lot of times. You get a number of people looking through long boxes at the same time, and or going into one area. So we intentionally kind of space them in different areas of the driveway just to be able to have some room in between.
Good. So listen to the podcast, watch the video feed, and check, most importantly, the Facebook page for the upcoming event info for the future Purge rummage sales. Okay, we're going to kick it off over here with the weekly reviews. I have a very Archie-centric stack this week. So before I kick into the first book, I want to show off my latest Archie product, which is an Archified portrait of myself done by writer-artist Dan Parent. So he's doing a bunch of commissions through the Archie shop, and it's a way to get some work done, make some money while he's not out on the convention scene. Usually he's at cons every couple times a month. So they're available to buy some portraits, some ones of the Archie characters, or if you pay a little more, you can get yourself Archified. So here we go. He sent me the 9x12 in the mail. Just got it all framed up. So that will kick off my Archie stack here with Archie and Friends Night at the comic shop. Archie, Jughead, Betty, and Veronica notice something strange is going on when a meteor crashes into the basement of the local comic shop. Everything seems fine until portals from other dimensions begin to appear. What comes out, however, is who's who of classic Archie comic characters, featuring all new appearances by Cosmo, the Merry Martian, Susie, Sam Hill, Super Duck. We have Little Jinx, we've got Cubby the Bear, and Ginger, and many, many more. Rumor has
Hang
it
on.
that
I just want to clarify. Are they in the basement of a comic book store, or are they in a comic book store in somebody's basement?
it's the basement of the local comic shop, which, if rumor has it, the meteor, I don't know if that hit your house as well, if all of these comic book characters came to life in your basement, and that's why you have to sell the books outside.
Um, I, I try to make sure that nothing's coming to life in my basement.
Okay, so cutting to this story here, this collects some stories that were previously released in the normal numbering, but they collect the story of Night at the comic shop. You have all of the Archie characters are hanging out at the comic shop and just talking about books, and you just see a bunch of the Archie related products on the spinner racks and on the shelves, all of those characters I just mentioned. And as they're sitting there talking about how cool comic books are, then a giant meteor comes and crashes through the store. And what happens is a bunch of these wacky characters, one of my favorites being Cosmo the Merry Martian in this story, are kind of scattered across the shop. There are characters galore. This is the Avengers Infinity War of Archie Comics when it comes to just connecting all of these entities throughout the publishing. And they go wild in the streets, and that's where Archie and the gang has to split up and try to track these characters down throughout the city. They're wreaking havoc in the sense of just being comic book characters brought to life. There's not any like real great destruction going on beyond the initial meteor landing. So it's just a matter of collecting and rounding these people up and trying to get them back and figure out how to get them back into the portal to send them back to their proper dimension. But yeah, this is a several part story that was very fun. It's kind of crazy how we had recently talked about Super Duck '1 and not really having much information on like if this was a brand new character, finding out that he's been around forever, going back to like the 40s, I believe. And we have more from the Super Duck world presented in this this storyline. So it's just kind of cool how all that has kind of come together with me picking up this book. And Super Duck, has been sitting there in comics all of this time without us knowing. But yeah, so it was a really fun story. Connecting all these characters made me really interested. The number one thing that this made me want to do is to check out the Cosmo the Merry Martian character. So I'm going to have to look into that to read up on that character. But yeah, this is a fun story, all ages, included for the first time in print, a who's who's of classic MLJ characters before it became Archie Comics in this storyline here. A lot of fun. That is Archie and Friends, Night at the Comic Shop.
Ones that all have a variety of characters in. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Starman, Dr. Fate, and the rest of the adult superhero world are about to meet their match in Clarion, Bum Bum Bum, the Witch Boy. A name that strikes fear into the hearts of men, or at least it should. For Clarion is the magical miscreant who is about to turn the superhero world as we know it upside down. With a wave of his hand, heroes as mighty as the JLA and the JSA will revert to children, and the fate of the planet will rest with a band of young heroes turned adult, Young Justice. Collecting the complete 12-issue crossover event, Young Justice Sins of Youth is a lighthearted adventure brought to you by a motley collection of today's top comic talents. You've never seen the DC universe this screwed up. It's a very fun story. All the adults become kids. All the kids are adults. You got all the different. The adults now act like kids and are all little shits and stuff. The kids are all being serious, wondering if they actually acted that way when they were the teenagers and stuff. You have a person taking superheroes, turning them into clones, and then they're coming back as themselves, but they're cloned. Aquaman can swim through toilets. This was a new one for me. Lots of characters, lots of battles, lots of age-changing fun. My favorite parts were they do the little storylines for the different characters, like Batman goes back to Gotham to make sure everything's all right. But Batman's a kid, Robin's an adult, so they swap costumes, and Robin's like, I get to drive the Batmobile. It's fun watching them change places and stuff, and same with Wonder Woman and Wonder Girl swap places, Superman, Superboy and stuff. It's just a great fun storyline. And Clarion, Bum Bum Bum, the Witch Boy, he's actually a funny little character too. So
basically Freaky Friday, but with the DC universe.
Basically, yeah. It's lots of fun. I didn't think I'd get through it because it's a ton of reading, but I survived. I made it through it. But yeah, if you want to find out about all those characters, I don't think you have to know anything about them because I didn't know anything about most of them coming in, and they're reverted into different types because they go to different ages anyways, so it's all new in their perspectives. So check it out. Young Justice, Sins of Youth.
Cool. Sounds like a lot of fun. Let's jump right over to Katie for their next one.
You bet. Well, the dark times are continuing. I have Star Wars Epic Collection, The Empire, Volume 2. Of course, last week I talked about Volume 1. Let's see. So this is set just a few months after Revenge of the Sith. So things are pretty bad throughout the galaxy. A lot of hurt going on. And it's following like 3 different storylines. We hear about Das Jenier, who used to be a Jedi, is now on the run. And he's trying to make a life for himself and decide, do his Jedi values still apply to this new life, and should they? So one cool thing is we see him go to a town and clear out all the bad guys, and then following up from that, him and one of the people he rescued are attacked in the dust to go and fight some more guys. Cool. He's a cool character too, so that's nice. There's really a subplot with Darth Vader where he's going throughout the galaxy basically just enforcing the Emperor's new rule and also trying to hunt Jedi on the side, which he knows he's not supposed to do. So he gets in some trouble for that.
Oh, dropped out.
Uh-oh. Okay, and she's back.
I'm back. The Empire not me talking about secrets book out about more of what Vader's doing. And then there is a group of kind of outlaws and refugees all banded together on a spaceship. Give me some Guardians of the Galaxy vibes right there. And they do various things from freeing slaves and hiding out on the run and trying to trade some artifacts for money, which gets them caught up with Darth Vader, so always a bad place to be. And just, again, trying to make a life for themselves in this galaxy that is so confused and tumultuous. This book covers materials basically from the Dark Times line. So Dark Times 6 through 17, Dark Times Blue Harvest, and Dark Times Out of the Wilderness. So as I've said before, the Epic collections are just reprinting stuff from Dark Horse. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. It was good actually read these all together. I had previously read some stuff in Dark Times, and you know, some of it was good, but some of it I didn't really like because the reading it broken up and not with as much continuity. But I'm enjoying it a lot. This was a good book. So that is Star Wars Epic Collection, The Empire, Volume 2.
Alrighty, sounds great. Jim, let's go to you.
All right, I've got Catwoman 80th Anniversary 100-page spectacular. There we go. This one is like the other anthologies for the anniversary issues. Am I still on mute? No.
Nope, you're good.
Okay, good. Is 10 stories in this book, all by different writers. One of the highlights of the book is in between the stories, they do some artwork reflecting the Catwoman costumes throughout the ages. And here we have the 50s, what she looked like back then. And then you'll have some 60s, 70s, 80s, just different time periods. And then most of the stories are set in the current day, or pretty much current day, but they do vary the costume a little bit to reflect different ones. One of the cooler ones is when they go like this and they do a Catwoman or Batman 66 Catwoman story.
Cool.
My favorite story overall is called Helena, and it is by Tom King, and it kind of continues his Batman, Catwoman, Bruce, Selina story that he did from his Batman run. And Batman is in the Batcave examining Catwoman with a CAT scan machine, or MRI, because she's apparently been sick and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with her. And it turns out she's been pregnant, or she is pregnant. And it follows her through her pregnancy, and then all of a sudden it skips ahead around 20-some years, and they are at a graveside, and she's talking to a young woman, and she's an old lady, and it finds out that this is the daughter, the child that they had, and that at the very end you find out what the title of the story was, and it's Helena, which in some of the stories throughout the years, in fact, on Earth 2, I believe, Helena Wayne was the child of Batman and Catwoman and became the character Huntress on a different Earth than the main continuity. So that's probably reflecting that story. So a little bit of a time dimension jump from Tom King's traditional Batman Catwoman stories, but yeah. There are a couple more really good ones. This other one that was really strange was, what was it called? It was called, let's see, Conventional Wisdom. Catwoman, or Selina Kyle, is going to a comic book convention as Catwoman, and she's sitting at a table with Bruce Wayne and the Joker, and all these people are coming up for autographs, and they're going to panels, and they're making discussions. And she's like, "This is weird. Why does everybody know? How does everybody know this?" And the guy from the convention is telling her, "You have to carry this thing around. You have to carry this thing around." Finally, she realizes something is wrong, and she smashes the machine, and she ends up reverting to normal reality where it's not a convention, and it was Dr. Destiny, the infamous Master of Dreams. Now, this is a villain I'm not familiar with. If he existed before, I don't know. But by smashing that machine, she becomes the traditional Catwoman, and she is facing him instead of in a convention hall, in a spooky old mansion. So yeah. And then one of the cover pages, again, that gorgeous wedding dress.
Awesome.
From last year. Last year? Yeah. But, yeah. Hello? That was Catwoman 80th anniversary. And I don't know if Anthony, have you read this?
It is.
I'm sure you got it just for the cover.
Yeah, the
Joel Jones and Laura Allred.
Yeah, I think mine will be showing up on Monday, so.
Okay.
Very excited. Cool. All right. Next up in the Archie lineup, I do want to say I had a special delivery from Archie Comics, not only the portrait, but also they had an offer that is now expired, but it was to take an extra 50% off your entire order where 100% of all proceeds will be donated to the Equal Justice Initiative. This is something they did through their website. So I went over to Archie, started, collecting up some hardcovers. One of them being the up to date with the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the comic series from Roberto Aguirre Sacasa and Robert Hack. It does have the Netflix cast as the hardcover image, but on the inside, it is the awesome series that led to that. So yeah, that collection's out there. Is one of my favorite stories. Probably the darkest stuff I've read in comic books, and that is from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. But on something that's the exact opposite is the hardcover, The Art of Betty and Veronica. Finally, a gorgeous book showcasing the best of Betty and Veronica art from their 70-year history as reigning cartoon high school icons. The Art of Betty and Veronica features artwork by fan favorite artists Dan DiCarlo, Harry Lucy, Bob Montana, Dan Parent, Fernando Ruiz, and many, many more. You'll treasure this look at comics' greatest friends and rivals, American sweethearts, Betty and Veronica. And what I really like about the back of the hardcover is the Dan DiCarlo, Betty and Veronica, like rough sketch there. So that looks pretty sweet. It looks like it's just sketched onto the actual hardcover. This is edited by Archie creator Victor Gorlick and Craig Yo. This is an awesome collection that is starts off with an awesome splash inside cover. This is going through the history, much like the other Archie hardcovers I talked about in the previous episodes. This one is focusing on Betty and Veronica. There's a lot of information here, kind of talking about the history of designing the characters and the covers. It's kind of going through a collage of introducing the creators that are known for making these characters extra famous. What's cool about this is that it also, with it primarily being like a cover gallery book as well, it kind of goes and shows you the many different covers for Betty and Veronica, but also is printing some of the short stories involving the characters throughout all of the decades. So as you go through the book, you kind of get a taste of how these characters have really grown in the storytelling, how they're portrayed in each decade and generation of the creators. So there's some of these here that are getting all like the black and white ones, some are in color. But yeah, it's a really good representation of the characters throughout the years. And what's kind of cool too is they're kind of like scanned in like the original art. So you see like on the headline here, and you see just some of the fading or the browning of the pages. So it's kind of cool to see some of that reflected in the scans here. But yeah, they give a lot of cool little inside tips on how these covers are made and how they're approached, and once again, all focusing on Betty and Veronica. Here's one that I thought was pretty cool in the cover gallery, and I went to go look online. I had only looked on eBay so far, but yeah, this cover was going around for like $25, so I didn't jump at that one. But this is from 1984, Dan DiCarlo, but this is a fun Betty-centric cover there. But yeah, it's pretty cool just to have these all printed here, the best of the best. So yeah, that is a nice collection showing off the two very favorite characters of Betty and Veronica in The Art of Betty and Veronica.
Cool. I didn't see that. I did go through the sale.
Okay. Maybe I bought the last one.
Might have. I was having problems finding hardcovers.
Yeah.
Seemed like a lot of hardcovers must have been gone.
I bought 3 of them, so maybe that's where they went. You're up with the next pick there.
Was it Kingdom Come?
Yes.
All right. I know Dr. Kurt's dad not too long ago talked about Kingdom Come. I don't know if it was a compilation or what it was, but it's for Kingdom Come graphic novels. I'm going to see if I can read Shelley's handwriting here. In this Elseworld story, Superman and the Justice League abandon their roles as superheroes after the rise and strong public support of a superhero named Magog, who has no qualms about killing, notably the Joker, on his way to trial for the mass murder of the Daily Planet staff, including Lois Lane. In the ensuing years, a newer generation of superpowered metahumans arise. They engage each other in destructive battles with little distinction between heroes and villains. The narrator, a minister named Norman McKay, receives apocalyptic visions of the future from a dying Wesley Dodds. The Spectre appears to McKay and recruits him to help pass judgment on the approaching superhuman apocalypse. And on the next, I want to get this in there too. Is come on, don't go away now. Okay, never mind, that won't be in there. But the one, I can't remember his name, he's like the atom or whatever, gets ripped in half by another metahuman and basically wipes out all of like Kansas area, kills the crops, all that stuff, because the atomic ray gets escaped when he gets ripped apart.
That would have been Captain Atom.
Yeah. It has very unique artwork. It's called the type of artwork is called gouache. It's like a watercolor mix with like acrylics. It's an interesting style. It's not a full watercolor style, but and you have nice clean artwork too with it and stuff. But it's a good looking book. The storyline fits in with today's society and all the fighting and arguing and the discrimination and everything. It's just, if you like it, the characters and stuff, it's a book you should definitely probably look into if you're part of that DC enjoyment. I have a hard time with DC myself, and I'm trying to find ways to fall in love with them, but I'm not big on the conflictual. But this was a very good storyline and a very good setup for everything. But yeah, I suggest checking it out if you get some time.
Okay.
Come.
And before Jim goes with the next review, I do have a question for him. Is there something that's killing the children right now?
There is.
Let's hear from it.
Okay. I talked about this last issue, and there was a little bit of a change in the story. And we met an organization that was behind Erica Slaughter, and kind of the one she was going rogue for, and they decided they needed to go and check her out and pull her back in. So in this issue, we have them showing up where she was in Wisconsin and saying, "Hey, girl, you got to stop this. You don't know what you're doing. You're doing it wrong." And she said, "Well, I'm not going to follow you. I'm going to do it my own way." And she and this guy go off to find out what the cause of this monster was, and then use the surviving children from the last attacks as bait to catch these monsters. In the meantime, we also see that deputy sheriff who has been around from the beginning, and he has been following them, and he overhears this and sets up his own arrangement to protect the little girl that was sitting. We last saw her sitting and drawing in the police station. There are some great fight scenes in here with her fighting some monsters. Look at these spider-looking things. She fights them, and poof, they turn to shadow, which is what prompted her supervisor saying, "You don't know what you're doing anymore, huh?" I love this full page.
Ooh, nice. They should really be making that mask for right now and making money
They
off it.
should be. That's what I thought. I would get one of those. Yeah, a very action-packed issue. One of the things that really caught me was not the story itself, but at the back there was a special preview. We see a little boy sleeping in his bed, and then you see, look at this, he's got some teeth and pointy ears coming.
Oh boy.
And then in the next pages, he turns into this.
A werebird.
Puberty, I tell you.
Something, yeah. And it is promoting a new title called Wind, W-Y-N-D. So, and I do not recall this being ever advertised, but I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah, now that I see that spelling, I've seen that somewhere. I don't know if I saw it in that current catalog or what, but.
So yeah, that's something I want to look into now because that looks kind of cool. But yeah, not a landmark issue, but a good one with some good action. And then a couple of really good images, like with the spiders and that full page with Erica in the mask. Yeah. Something is killing the children, number 7.
Cool. I was just doing a quick search on that WYND, and it doesn't look like it's in the current previews, but yeah, I guess I just maybe saw that in the news feed or something. Okay, since it's been an Archie show and tell here, in addition to talking about the comics, since I'm covering the Art of the Archie of the Covers hardcover, that inspired me, especially after reading the Betty and Veronica ones, and now this. It inspired me to make a cover of my own. So I just finished it this morning. I started late Thursday. One of my favorite covers, and just a lot of people's favorite cover. I'm going to wait till I can get the correct, for the video here, to get the full, might be too bright. The late 60s Silver Surfer number 4, it's a little better, with Thor and Silver Surfer on the cover. And I decided I was inspired to recreate that, do a little homage. So I created my own Jughead cover here, Archie's pal Jughead, and got him on the surfboard going towards Betty, who's holding a plate of burgers. Got Betty and Veronica out in the sea. And then as an ongoing little background Easter egg in Archie comics, they love to have confused animals. So I put a little confused crab on the bottom there. But yep, this here is the cover that I created. And I think Archie Comics will hire me any second now. Just going to make sure my ringer's on in case it goes off during the next review.
So what are Betty and Veronica doing out in the sea?
Archie and Veronica are out there making out. So
little canoodling.
It looks good. You did a good job. It's a fun cartoon.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
So the book here for the next one is The Art of Archie, The Covers, another giant hardcover collection. It's got a cool front and back, which shows the front and back of Archie, Betty, and Veronica. The backstory of Archie's front covers. That's a great setup. Just make sure it's in frame when I read this here. The coolest, the wildest, the sexiest, the zaniest, the funniest covers ever printed on comic books. This large format, full color extravaganza gloriously prints hundreds of incredible covers, many reproduced from the original art, featuring those fun-loving teenagers, Archie, Betty, Veronica, Jughead, and Kevin, and Moose. Archie Comics publications, editors, artists, writers, and comic historians and collectors, and most importantly, the fans, have had their say. Fun sections include celebs, fashion, rock and roll, first appearances, artist bios, swimsuits, fine art, sports, superheroes, many, many more from cover to cover. So the opening splash is showing a collage of covers here. Much like the last book, this one is diving deep into the creation of a cover. especially one of these famous ones here with Betty and Veronica listening to the Beatles, and then you got Hiram Lodge in the background thinking Beatles the bug. And so what this collection is really showing off, like I said, the first appearances, which is pretty cool. It's showing like when each character first appeared on a cover, including Archie himself. Then you have, some of the side characters, like when Miss Grundy made it on the cover for the first time, when Moose was on his first cover. So yeah, it's a pretty cool setup there. One thing that I learned that was a really cool process behind how they make covers. It's a chapter called Deja Vu All Over Again. A lot of the Archie comics have the blue and the red headers here for the title cards. And while they want to make sure that the covers are instantly grabbing the attention, making sure that it's an Archie comic just by, putting the characters front and center, by having the normal comedic arrangement. But what they didn't want to do is that month by month, people thinking that they're just seeing the same cover. So they want to make them similar enough, but different enough to make sure that people know that it's a new issue, not being like, oh, yep, that one looks familiar. Yep, there's all the characters. I got that one already. So what they would do is actually interchange each month by going from the blue to the reds and back and forth. So that was kind of a cool little thing that I never knew, and makes complete sense, because then seeing that color, if you had just picked up the red title cover and then you see a similar type of arrangement, then you're like, whoa, but it's a blue one. I don't have the blue one. And so they would kind of switch back and forth between that. So that was kind of a cool little marketing trick that you find out in here. Yeah, this one too has a bunch of the behind the scenes, kind of showing some of the pencil work. Trying to see if I can find some examples here. This one's going out throughout all of the decades. Here's the chapter on Dan Parent, who did the headshot that I showed earlier. So he's got his chapter and kind of talking about how he kind of brought his own innocence to the characters of the drawings, while capturing a classic style, but also just kind of reviving it for the next generation. And so it's just kind of cool just seeing how each particular artist has their own approach to it, while it's all very, still in character and overall with the whole company. So yeah, there's a lot of fun representation here, much like the, that might be my Archie
Is that the call?
Oh, no, apparently they don't want my covers. Okay, fair enough. I'll try again. Another cool one here, just showing once again how these original art pieces are scanned in. So you just kind of see how the rough titles and the aging and the browning of the books and stuff. So it's just kind of cool to see how some of that stuff is kind of preserved throughout the decades. But yeah, this one, just a huge cover gallery. It's a lot of fun, just really very inspiring, because it immediately led me to go ahead and design my own cover, which I used some reference points. I didn't do any tracing or anything like that, but here's one of my examples of using the image I used for Betty from this cover from the 50s, I think, 61, where I kind of used that as a kind of a template where I went, and then I kind of updated her the swimsuit and the expression a little bit. And but yeah, so this book is really kind of taught me a lot about what goes into creating a cover. And yeah, it's kind of, and there's a lot of artists out there that are strictly cover artists, and it's such a cool job where you just kind of you're brought in, whether you're doing variant covers or whatever, but you're not necessarily making a cover to sell the story on the inside, especially with the Archie books, where you just get some random joke on the cover and then you just jump into the adventures. But it's just kind of a cool cool look behind how that process works. So another gorgeous hardcover here from the Art of Archie collection. This one is The Covers. All right, Kirby?
We got from DC Universe, we got Trinity Comics. Two of them here. The Trinity storyline was a major event crossing over between DC Comics, Outer Space titles, Green Lantern Corps, Legion, and Dark Stars. The three groups converge on the planet Maltus, birthplace of the Guardians of the Universe, the Controllers, and the Zamorans. They go up against a trio of cosmic-powered ancient Malthusian gods called the Triarch. It's an interesting story. You got a guy that's basically brings these three gods back to life. I'll show you a picture of a statue there. You got Quora the creator, Anchor the sustainer, or Archer the sustainer, and Zodar the destroyer. And they get summoned up to basically wipe out the planet of Maltus. And Green Lantern is sent to the planet first, and then the other teams are already in there in some way, shape, or form. And they get together and battle it out. The creators and the controllers, the UA or whatever from the Green Lantern Corps, the little blue guys that control the Green Lantern. What are they? They're the Guardians, I guess, but aren't they called like
Guardians of the Universe?
Yeah. And then them and the Destroyers have conflict, and they argue out stuff. And don't want to help, just want it all wiped out. Just let them go ahead, and then they talk it through and figure out things. And I don't want to give away the ending and everything, but they figure everything out, what they're going to do and what they allow to happen. And then three gods realize they're being taken for a run, and then they kind of like go after their creator that brought them back. It's a good storyline. It gives you a good outlook on all three teams. You don't have to really know much. The Green Lantern that they send is Hal Jordan. I believe I did say it. So it's during that period. If you like Green Lantern, the Dark Stars, or Legions, it's a good storyline for you to check out. I don't think you need anything else to know about it, because I didn't need to know nothing to get into it. So
Excellent. Good.
All right. My next one is called Faithless 2, Issue 1. This is a follow-up series to the original Faithless, which was the adventures of Faith as she met Poppy and her father, who apparently is the devil. Now she has become a famous artist, and she is working in her studio, and we see a flashback where she is being interviewed on a talk show, and she absolutely says nothing. And Poppy's father does all the talking for her. Again, this is a little bit of a more, definitely more of an adult title. Don't let the kids read this one.
Yeah, I've seen some of those covers. Yeah.
Yeah, this is, okay, looking at this cover, this is mild compared to the inside. So, it definitely keeps that theme going throughout. And right now, there was like a very much more of a supernatural feeling in the last series, which we don't get right now. I'm hoping that comes back, because right now it's just a story about an artist who became famous and now is struggling. So, which is kind of interesting in its own, but not the same as what it was. So I'd like to see it return a little bit more to where it had been. but the art style is still great. This is Maria Lovett does the art, and the story is written by why am I blanking on that?
Yeah.
Brian Azzarello.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
You're
So
a doppelganger.
yes. So like I said, given that he's the writer, I'm assuming it's going to come back to that theme again a little bit more. We haven't seen it yet. But Faith does have a friend join her so she has now, instead of having this relationship with just Poppy and her father, now there's another person comes into the relationship. So I have to see how that happens, so more weird stuff to go with her new lifestyle.
Cool. I was just gonna bring up an image of Jim's doppelganger. This is the best. This is just the best photo I could get off the top of the head, top of Google here. But he's got the glasses. He's got the beard. Oh yeah, there we go.
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
Alternate universe. All right, cool. Kirby, you're next.
Well, we got from Elseworlds, JLA, The Secret Society of Superheroes, Book 1 and 2. They're the greatest heroes the world has ever known, and the world doesn't even know they exist. Sacrificing personal recognition for the cause of justice, serving as judge, jury, and executioners, forsaking fame and fortune for the greater good. But after 50 years of operating in the shadows, the secret society demands its moment in the spotlight. It's time to go public, and the world will never be the same. This one is kind of interesting how the characters are a little bit different laid out here. Bruce Wayne's an FBI agent. His dad donned the bat suit. Lois Lane is in love with Batman. A couple, later points you see references of Superman hitting on Lois Lane and stuff. The superheroes in this one are very angry, very just kind of constant conflict, constant issues. Can't get along, can't figure things out. Basically destroying the world because of their anger, but it is a good storyline. Don't let me push you away from it. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm more of a happy-go-lucky type person. I want more fun in my comics, but
like the Young Justice book.
Yeah, that was more entertaining to me. But it is a good storyline. You will enjoy it if you are part of it. I don't know who is Bart for the Flash. Is that like the young
Bart Allen?
Yeah. Is that Kid Flash?
Yeah. Jim and David would be the ones that would have the best. Here's Jim.
Because he starts out in the yellow. Jim, Bart Flash. For the Flash, Bart.
Bart Allen was a descendant of Barry Allen from the future who came ahead in time or back in time, and then he became the character called Impulse.
Okay.
And also,
he's now under Young Justice.
Yeah.
In this book, he dons the yellow with the red. Lightning bolt outfit, but then later on he takes over the Flashes and stuff. So yeah, okay, that makes more sense. I was saying Kid Flash, not Impulse.
He also used the title Kid Flash for a while too.
Yeah, and I just happened to find this little newspaper comic book clipping that was in the book, which was a surprise to me because one of my favorite comics of all times in newspapers is Blondie and Dagwood. But yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
It's like Paul would always throw little things like this into some random comics every now at the Rainbow Harvest. So, but Bumstead, you've been doing some really good work lately. Thanks, boss. I put a little something extra in your pay envelope this week. All right. And he opens it up. It's It's Pokemon cards. Yeah, it's just that cracked me up. But yeah, and then you can cut this out if you want, Anthony, when you come back or whatever. But all the books I reviewed this week are available for sale. And you can contact me if you're interested at all at kevintheduckpool@gmail.com.
Kevin the Duck Pool.
Yep. And we can discuss prices if anybody's interested. So but I tried. I'm trying to get more into DC Comics, but
Hey,
gotta have comedy, damn it.
hey, you read them, and now you want to make sure other people can read them too.
They're good stories. They still need to stay out there. So.
If you're looking, you want something lighthearted, DC, go with Teen Titans Go. Go with Superhero Girls.
Yeah.
Nothing too serious, you know.
I like some of the serious stuff, but it's like just a lot of the conflictual stuff that's happening nowadays. A lot of these books are perfect references for that stuff. So.
Or go back to the 60s books.
Yeah, I was having more fun with the older ones.
I had to run into the other room because when you had found that comic strip in your book, that reminded me of the thing that I found in a comic book one time. I think I got this from Half Price Books, Queen and Country, Volume 1 by Greg Rucka and Steve Rolston. Very popular series here. I had read this many years ago, but when I opened this up, something fell out of the book, which is this right here. It is the note sheet, the music note sheet for the flute to play the song Crazy in Love. And I found this in there, and I'm just like, all right, so you have this comic that's about, like a spy. It's this political thriller spy, series. And I got this message, this hidden message in there. So I tweeted at Greg Rucka and just like, is this like an invite or like a clue to a secret mission that I now have to play the flute and learn Crazy in Love to solve a mystery or something? And he did agree. I forget exactly. I think he may have told me to start practicing the flute or something, but that was kind of something cool that's completely unrelated. But I make sure it goes right back in there.
Could be a secret. Could have a secret message for you to be knighted by the Queen.
Ooh, well, I'm going to order a flute and see if I can learn that song.
If you go to the dollar store, they got those little plastic flutes.
Oh, like a recorder?
Yeah.
I probably still have mine from grade school somewhere. Okay, well, that does it for the weekly reviews of the comic books, but it sounds like we have another round of Zombie Dust.
Yeah, I went to Jeff's Spirits on Main, one of the best liquor stores around the area that I can think of. I go there often, and the thing I like is I was searching for a new type of tequila to try out, and all of a sudden they just popped open a couple bottles and started pouring me shots at noon to try out. And bonus. But yeah, I tried out the Zombie Dust.
Way to go.
Nice artwork. I did see another, I'm not sure if Three Floyds used Tim Seeley for other artwork on other ones, but we stopped at the Sendix today and I seen another 6-pack done by Three Floyds, but it didn't say nothing about Tim Seeley on it and had some similar style artwork to it. But if you read the bottle here, it says, this intensely hopped and gushing undead pale ale will be one's only respite after the zombie apocalypse. Created with our marvelous friends in the comic industry, art by Tim Seeley. This, to me, is what most of these beers are like. They're more of a darker beer. It's a bitter beer. And I got big time hints of grapefruit from it. So I think it has a grapefruit base to it, but if you like darker beers, you'll enjoy these. It was only, I believe, $11.99 per 6-pack. So compared to some of the other ones I've seen, that's a pretty decent price. But yeah, I figured I'd try it out too because I know Damon was looking for a description on it, what it tasted like and stuff. So
Cool. Yep. I gotta make my way down there yet and pick up a Tim Seeley beer.
yeah, I know I was gonna bring the other 4 bottles to the comic book sale today, and I forgot the dang things until we were halfway down the road.
Wow. Okay. Well, that is going to do it for our weekly reviews, but we have a couple more segments on the show. So let's jump right over to the letters page. For those video watchers at home, this is the behind the scenes switcheroo as I saved the audio file to make sure we don't lose all of that gold. It looks like David's returned. How's the update going over at the rummage sale?
Well, as people were talking, I tried to show as somebody bought a box of eggs, a full box of eggs.
Nice warm summer days.
It's nice. Somebody, we basically filled a box full of comics. So that's what I was kind of showing as I was putting them in the box. And now it's tear down time. So Kurt and I are actually busy getting everything torn down and everything. I would like to have popped in a little bit more. Yeah.
How is the audio when you hear us? Do you have it like muted, or do people walking by, can they hear us?
Yeah, they can hear it. It's not super loud, but I've got it going. So
we gotta get us on a PA system. So that's a big, it's a whole show then.
Yeah, we could pipe it into the PA system over at Regner Park.
Oh, perfect. Well, we'll try to get a lot more subscribers.
Couple of us
Comic Book Club Live.
So I'm gonna keep getting stuff packed away, and if I get that done in time, I'll join for something. So I'm trying to kind of listen as I'm back and forth.
Question.
What's that?
Give your answer to Anthony's question quick.
I laughed when I heard it. Now I don't even remember what it was already. Oh, wasn't it like which comic book villain could you beat?
Yep. And we're recording now. If you want to give the answer, I'll do all the official intro later. I can clip this in.
Okay, we're gonna do that. And I'm not editing the video, so I've got enough video editing to get caught up on and everything else. So it's gonna be out of order for there, but that's fine. Which comic book villain could I personally beat?
You or your alter ego?
Yeah, probably none of them. It'd be my luck that I'd get some, villain that nobody's ever heard of. The kind that Spider-Man comes across and doesn't even waste his time with. And something would happen, and I would trip, or something would go wrong, and he'd beat me. That's just the luck that I have. You think the Parker luck is bad? My luck would be the worst no-name villain in comic book history would probably somehow defeat me, not through strength or ability or whatever, just because something would happen that would just, I'd lose.
And just to plug a name in there, I'm going to say it's the Walrus from Marvel Comics. If you're talking Spider-Man and all that stuff, the Walrus would probably be that victor in that bout.
Probably.
He was my backup option, but yep, so I had to throw that out there. Okay,
right. I will. And then I would have to run off and go cry in my zombie dust.
Okay, I will clip that answer in, and here we go. We're going to jump right back into the recording. Welcome to the letters page, everybody. Each and every week we talk about a question, we give our answers. This week's question is, which comic book supervillain could you personally defeat? So, I'll kick it off here. I was kind of going through some of the characters, kind of wondering who I thought I could take. And I'm not much of a fighter myself, so I tried thinking of some of the weaker villains. I'm not going any big villains like your Magnetos or your Thanos and your Darkseids. I'm not even going to say that I could defeat those just to be tough. I really did go down to just the bottom of the barrel, and I went with Paste Pot Pete, who is from the Marvel Comics universe, who is a character that basically kind of goes around, robs banks and things like that, but he uses this glue gun, and yeah, he's one of those that just by appearance only, I think I could just push him over, and then he would probably end up just getting paste all over himself and accidentally paste himself to the cement or something, or you trip over his hose that he's got the paste in. But Paste Pot Pete is one of those that the name itself really leads to knowing his outcome whenever he comes up across Spider-Man. That you just know that Spider-Man is going to take out Paste Pot Pete. So he doesn't have any physical superpowers. He just has the device, and I think that's where I could probably get the upper hand. So I think I could defeat Paste Pot Pete. Now let's cut over to David for the next answer. Hey, that was a great answer, David.
Good answer, David.
All right, let's jump over to Kirby.
It's pretty easy if you go into like the DC universe. You got the Joker, Enigma, Two-Face. None of them really have any powers. Penguin. Well, Penguin's the one I'm gonna pick, just because it would be Gimp on Gimp. So I'd have a chance, probably just the first one gets the fastest draw, gets the lucky shot in, wins that one. So I know his pain with his leg, so I'd just take out the other leg, and he'd be waddling around on the ground.
And speaking of the Penguin, I'm always within arm's reach of the giant rubber duck vehicle. Let's say you and the Penguin are in a race. What would your vehicle of choice be to go up against this giant duck?
Scooby Mobile. The mystery machine.
Very popular choice. Okay, let's jump over. Oh, what do we got there, Jim?
Batmobile.
A Lego Batmobile.
Let's jump over to Katie. Which supervillain could you personally defeat?
Okay, so I feel kind of confident today. So hopefully I'll win. I'm going to fight the original Groot, who is not the fun tree-loving I am Groot guy that we know. He was a big, mean monster tearing down the city. So I'm going to fight Groot, and my weapon of choice is going to be fire and a chainsaw.
Whoa.
So I'll let the forces of nature do the heavy lifting for me.
That's awesome. I love hearing the weapons of choice, too. Really getting into painting a picture for us in this giant battle here.
Cool.
All right, Jim.
Well, I'm going with the DC universe, and I'm taking one of the lesser-known villains again, somebody that most likely I would have the best chance to defeat, and that would be Condiment King. Somebody squirts ketchup at me, I have a good chance that I can eat that ketchup.
Got to have a hot dog ready, and just in case.
Yep. Hamburger, hot dog, I'm ready to go. Let's get it on.
That's actually a great answer because, yeah, now I'm hungry. Here is a picture.
You're going to have to stop at Pop's Chocolate Shop.
Here's a picture of the Condiment King.
Condiment King, yeah.
For video.
That's from the animated series, eh?
Yep. Cool. All right. That will do it for the letters page. Let's jump over to the news. Oh, I don't even need to put the sound effects in anymore. So yeah, based on how quick that stuff went, we're at an hour of recorded time. So we will just do all of the previews. Just kind of get that cranked out, because if we have Dr. Kurtzad back next week, you'll have quite a hefty list. And so we will, I'm just hitting save here. Just before I get going, I'm going to bring up my list. Since I don't have a physical catalog, I'll just be reading off what my order list is.
You want mine?
Sure. Why don't you hand it over? All right. So let me see here. I'm gonna bring up my Midtown screen because I don't have any descriptions to read, so I'm going to cue that up quick, and hopefully that will help.
Are you gonna go publisher by publisher first, or like do the Marvel first and then?
I think we're just gonna go all out no matter what.
Okay.
Because the way Midtown does it, it's basically alphabetical order. So mine aren't broken out that way. So I think just anyone can say whatever they want in any order.
Because I have nothing from Marvel and I haven't seen DC's online thing yet. So
Yeah, we'll just do an overall. I'll just find where it is here. My previews orders.
there it is.
Okay, I found mine. All right, unfortunately, my order list doesn't have the link, so I'm going to see if I can just go into the catalog and I can just queue up each one as we go. That way I've got information to talk about. Okay, yep, this should work now. All right, we are recording, and here we go. Okay, this week in the news, we are talking about the previews items for an order cutoff of June 23rd, I believe. That's for the items that are going to be coming out.
Wait. You mean we can order comics again? We can order them?
I've placed some orders. I don't know if they'll show up, but I placed them. So we'll cross our fingers. So yeah, for this current catalog, items that are going to be coming out in August and beyond, depending on delays or trade paperbacks or collectibles and things like that. So a little different than what we're used to because we don't all have the physical catalogs anymore, based on with the Crimson store shutting down and not getting the catalogs and everyone kind of getting their books in other places. So instead of going publisher by publisher, catalog by catalog, we're just gonna basically just each take a turn, talk about what we are checking out. So from Archie Comics, Archie and Friends Endless Summer #1. This is a one-shot book. This is going to be following the same kind of format that they do these one-shots for. Celebrate summer vacation with Archie and Friends, and this summer promises to be a wild one. Complete with spooky island resorts, camp tales, a sunny Florida road trip, and a fun beach trip with a very unexpected guest. Sounds like summer in Riverdale is going to be a lot more exciting than summer for all of us here on Earth One. So, but yeah, this is a cool one-shot from $2.99, written by Dan Parent, art by Pat and Tim Kennedy, scheduled for release on October 12th. So Kirby, you don't have any titles to talk about then as we go around here?
I'm looking through Midtown right now, but I'm not seeing any yet.
Okay, Katie, how about you?
So right now I have nothing new I'm interested in getting. So we maybe some club picks if we had those that I would order up.
Cool. Yeah, once we get to that, we'll have to start figuring out, how we'll work all that out. Jim.
Yeah, I've got the catalog and I've picked out a bunch of stuff this time. Nothing from Marvel. I haven't seen DC yet, but Image has got one that I'm interested in. It's a one-shot called Hedra. Here's their synopsis. In a glorious exploration of the comics medium with echoes of 2001: A Space Odyssey, Flash Gordon, Chris Ware, and Mobius, a lone astronaut leaves a world ravaged by nuclear war in search of life. What she finds is beyond all explanation. And they have some sample pictures of the artwork, and it just shows the launch of the spaceship. Let's see, where am I? Launch of the spaceship, and then what she's leaving behind, the big mushroom cloud. But the artwork is thought was very interesting here. And since that's a one shot, at $6, I'm going to take a shot on that.
Cool. My next one I was very excited to see is the Avant-Garde's Down to the Wire. There's an original graphic novel adventure. Straight to graphic novel. This was I want to say 8 or 9 issue series, turned into a mini series possibly. That was kind of bummed to see go, but it looks like they found a way to bring back stories by doing a direct graphic novel. So everything's happening. Liv and Charlie are figuring out what it means to be Liv and Charlie. The final game of the season is here, and the team is worried about creating the perfect fundraiser. Oh, and everyone's parents showed up to cheer them on during the most stressful time of the team that they could imagine. Luckily, the entire existence of the league doesn't depend on one game, as the Avant-Garde's Luckily, the entire existence of the league doesn't depend on the one game where the Avant-Garde's winning, right? Oh, wait. This was a story about a girl trying out for the basketball team. She had some stuff in her past that kind of led her to kind of put that away. She's kind of an outcast at this new college, and there was a group of people that wanted to start up this team. They needed one more to kind of be a part of the league, and so they kind of just brought together a quick group of friends here as they tried to all kind of live out their passions of playing basketball. This was once again a series that was cut short, but I was super surprised and excited to see that it's going to continue in this graphic novel follow-up. So that's the Avant-Garde's Down to the Wire. Anything yet, Kirby?
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin #1. I've been interested in this Last Ronin coming back into the series. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle event of 2020, springing from the minds of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle co-creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Comes an epic like you've never seen before in a future New York City far different than the one we know today. A lone surviving turtle goes on a seemingly hopeless mission to obtain justice for his fallen family and friends. Kinetic layouts from Eastman, moody inks from Andy Kuhn, and a thrilling script full of surprises from longtime TMNT scribe Tom Waltz, all combined to make this one of the most memorable TMNT stories you will ever read. Oversized in both format and page count, this is a perennial Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tale that can't be missed. I am looking forward to this Ronin. So.
Yep, that one's on my list as well.
I saw that in the catalog and I thought of you.
Jim?
Okay, I'm going over to Dark Horse, and they have a title called Return of the Wizard King, the Wizard King Trilogy, Book 1. So I assume there's going to be 2 more. This is a trade paperback, and it's black and white. Something that I'm not usually too keen on, but this premise sounds really good. The gladiator sold his soul for revenge. The knight's a bigot. The dwarf only cares about regaining his honor. Even the wizardess seems too bookish for anyone's good. But they've all been hired by a blind seer to retrieve some forgotten knowledge long hidden away in a jungle strangled ruin. Get out, get in, get out, get paid. At least that's what they thought. Instead, they uncover hidden agendas and ancient power, struggling centuries in the making. A classic Dungeons and Dragons adventure, it sounds like. So, and it's got a really cool cover of a wizard with lightning around him on the picture. So, and that's, I I said it was a 352-page black and white for $12.99.
Well,
So that's a good deal.
yeah. Over at Image Comics, there's a new title called Big Girls #1. When men become giant monsters hell-bent on destroying the world, only girls can stop them. Big Girls. Meet Ember. She writes poetry, loves to read, and she's a 300-foot-tall full-time monster killer. She and the other big girls are all that stand in the way of our world's complete annihilation. Just the title, that description, that was a big sell. When pre-ordering through Midtown, they offered this one at 50% off. So what I'm going to do for some of these here, definitely jumping into a lot of #1s and just really kind of testing some of the series, whereas normally I may just ignore it. But Big Girls #1 from Image Comics. This is written and drawn by Jason Howard, who the name's not familiar, but he had worked on Trees, I think was the one with I don't know if that was the one with Chip Zdarsky or if that was his own. If he maybe did all of the Trees, I might be thinking of something else. But yep, that one's a new #1 from Image. Kirby?
I saw that one and it almost made my list. Well, actually, it made my initial list, but it got the first cut round.
Well, we'll see if I can sell it on you if I like it in a couple months.
I was going to order the issue #1 that I seen on the sale package on Midtown this week, but now I see they have the graphic novel for the whole thing, The Crow Left, or Leaf. It's bad memories still haunting all Narcos, but are his memories real? And does the Crow care? Null Narcos is a popular performer in the Freak Chick Circus sideshow, able to endure horrific violence on his body without pain. But outside his nightly shows, Null is a blank slate with only faint but disturbing memories of who he was before. When other performers begin dying mysteriously, Null is haunted by a golden-eyed stalker and begins to remember a life he thought long gone, a life of murder, terror, and black wings. So I have yet to be disappointed by any of the Crow novels so far. So this is one I'm interested in and checking out. I'm glad I seen that the graphic novel's out before I.
Whoa, look at that cat yawn.
He's just thinking of Jim's dinner.
All right. Speaking of Jim.
Okay, Boom Studios has got a new title called Seven Secrets. And this has got some cool looking artwork, and it's written by Tom Taylor, who is most recently known for writing the DC Deceased storylines, as well as a bunch of other stuff he's done for them. So their description says, for fans of Once and Future and Undiscovered Country, comes an all-new original series from Tom Taylor. There are 7 powerful secrets, words, wonders, weapons, and worse with the power to destroy the world. The 7 secrets could destroy the world. For centuries they've been locked away and protected by the Order. When their stronghold is attacked and a secret revealed, the entire Order must go on the run. The Order's youngest member, Caspar, has been trained his entire life to protect the secrets he will never know. Now is his chance to prove his worth, to become a holder of one of the deadliest secrets of the world. But Caspar has a secret of his own, and the secret could prove more dangerous than anything the Order protects.
Ooh.
So for ongoing series, this seemed pretty compelling to me, because I usually am trying to avoid those these days in favor of limited runs, but that one made my cut, and I'm going to go for that.
Excellent. My next is, I think, a one-shot. This is Fantastic Four Antithesis, if that's how you pronounce that. This is labeled as a #1 based on the creative team. This seems like it could be a one-shot. This is the first full-length Fantastic Four story ever illustrated by classic creator Neil Adams. That's kind of a shock to hear, and it's written by Mark Waid, so that creative team is one of the reasons why it sold me. An unstoppable meteor of unknown origin has just erupted from hyperspace, and unless the Fantastic Four can find a way to stop it from hitting Manhattan, millions will die. And then, of course, the other selling point was the fact that the Silver Surfer is on this cover here. Looks like he's in he's kind of melted and dying in the arms of Ben Grimm. And yeah, so Neil Adams, Mark Waid, Silver Surfer, possibly a one-shot. I'm in. That is Fantastic Four Antithesis. Kirby?
Amalgama has Space Zombie, Galaxy's Most Wanted. I want to know more about this person, learn about it. This gal. And they also did Zombie Tramp and those other ones that Damon was reading. But the start of a new story arc, she may be the most wanted woman in the galaxy, but she's also the most dangerous. And now that Amalgama is hunting her bounty hunters, does anyone or anything stand a chance? Don't know nothing about the character, but I'm interested in learning about it.
Cool. Jim?
All right, a couple weeks ago, I talked about some titles from AWA Upshot that I was given the first issues of, and I really was interested in. So I specifically went to their section and checked them out today, and they have a new issue or a new series coming out, a limited run of 5 called Bad Mother. And this is a nerve-wracking thriller from crime writer Krista Faust. April Walters is a hit-and-run victim of life, a middle-aged soccer mom whose inner fire has been snuffed out by her dreary suburban existence. When her teenage daughter goes missing under mysterious circumstances, April embarks on a harrowing mission to find her, a journey that takes her through the underbelly of her suburban community and sets her on a collision course with a massive crime syndicate and its lethal matriarch. Tested to her limits and beyond, April discovers that hell hath no fury like a mother scorned. And then there's a quote, "What if the Punisher were a soccer mom?"
They should have led with that. That would have got my attention right away. All right. My next title here is a resolicit, but I wanted to bring it up because I didn't say this before. It's issue number 8 of a series I am not reading. This is a Legion of Superheroes number 8. I'll explain why I'm buying this in a second. The United Planets are at war as a new epic begins. The President of the United States is unable to maintain peace as Ultra Boy's homeworld of Rimbor and Chameleon Boy's homeworld of Durla declare interplanetary war. I threw this on my list because I heard it's an ultimate jam piece in which Brian Michael Bendis has reached out to a crazy amount of artists and asked them what characters would they want to draw and do a story for, a one-page story. So there are a bunch of artists collaborating with Brian Bendis, writing specifically to the artist's taste of who they want to draw. And with being good friends of Bendis, Mike and Laura Allred are doing one of those pages. So, of course, I had to scoop that up. But yeah,
you're saying you were a good friend of Bendis.
You know, me and him, we did bond over the fact that we both own the Gilmore Girls complete purse set, the DVD set that comes in a giant Gilmore Girls purse at a convention in Chicago. We did do like a fist bump handshake type of thing to show that we are both Gilmore Girl purse owner fans. So yeah, I'm still waiting. I'm going to turn my ringer back on in case Bendis wants to throw me into that jam piece yet. So, but yep, I'm excited to read my first issue of that Legion of Superheroes. That is number 8. That's a resolicit for August 26th. Kirby?
Still searching, but if you're a fan of Vampirella, Red Sonja, Sacred Six, they got a lot of great ongoing ones for those with excellent alternate covers. So.
Cool. Jim?
All right, speaking of Vampirella, Vault Comics has got a new series coming out from Vampire the Masquerade. For those who don't know, Vampire the Masquerade is a role-playing game set in the world of darkness where the characters play a vampire. And this is going to go with their new 5th edition storyline timeline, and follow the story of one character from Minneapolis for some reason. I don't know why there. It must be a new hotbed of vampire activity, and how they seek to survive and maintain the masquerade and hide among humans. As a fan of the game, I'm interested in seeing how this comic develops. So,
Cool. My next choice here is from First Second Books, which I often talk about with their graphic novels. This one is written by Faith Erin Hicks and art by Faith Erin Hicks. She is the one I talked about. I got to meet her at C2E2 this year. She is the artist, co-creator of Pumpkinheads. This is a new graphic novel called 1 Year at Ellesmere. With revamped art and now in full color, 1 Year at Ellesmere is an endearing middle-grade friendship story from Faith Erin Hicks. Was boarding school supposed to be this hard? When studious 13-year-old Juniper wins a scholarship to the prestigious Ellesmere Academy, she expects to find a scholastic utopia, but living in Ellesmere is far from ideal. She is labeled a special project. Ellesmere's queen bee is out to destroy her, and it's rumored that a mythical beast roams the forest next to the school. So yeah, this is once again Faith Erin Hicks. So her art is awesome, fits perfectly. It's a First Second book. This is definitely something that is in my wheelhouse. This one is scheduled for, and it looks like it didn't have the date on there. But it is available in a soft cover or a hardcover format. So if you want to save some money, you can save $5 by getting soft cover, but you have the hardcover version as well. Kirby?
Go to Jim.
Jim?
all right. This one I've actually decided to pass on, but because a couple weeks ago we were talking about what books from literature we thought would make good comics, I'm bringing this one to you guys. Boom is got this one listed, and it is Slaughterhouse-5. The Kurt Vonnegut story is becoming a comic book. And it is basically, it's a story that opened up the World War II, talks about that, how things were bad, how bad things were during World War II. But it makes it a comic book, and
All right.
where is it? That one is $25 for that. So 192 pages.
Good. My next is from DC. This is Swamp Thing Twin Branches. This is one of those original graphic novels. It kind of fits into that that kind of imprint, the young adult. They did Harley Quinn Breaking Glass, the Catwoman one. I mean, they got like tons of them. So this one is Swamp Thing Twin Branches. Twins Alec and Walker Holland have a reputation around town. One is quiet and the other is the life of any party, but the two are inseparable. For their last summer before college, Alex and Walker leave the city to live with their rural cousins, where they find that the swamp holds far darker depths than they could ever imagine. While Walker carves their names into the new social scene, Alec recedes into a summer school laboratory, slowly losing himself to a deep, dark experiment. This season, both brothers must confront truths, ancient and familial, as their lives diverge, tensions increase, and the dormant memories claw to the surface. This is Swamp Thing adjacent title, just kind of doing a different kind of take on the Swamp Thing idea, giving Alec Holland a twin brother, and it's really kind of cool. And other than the Swamp Thing, the cover of that really kind of caught my attention too, with the got the twin brothers there, and one's all swamped up, if you will. So yeah, that is Swamp Thing Twin Branches, and coming from DC Comics in October.
So that is a new concept that he has a brother.
Yeah, from what I understand,
Okay.
from what I've read, at least a twin brother. Maybe there was some sort of story that I haven't read that maybe they did it for like an arc or something. But from my knowledge,
A Swamp Thing story that you haven't read.
yeah, there's a lot of them, and I actually bought 78 Swamp Things. Some of those I've read though because I got them in trade paperback, but I don't have the single issues. But yeah, I would honestly say there's a lot of Swamp Thing I haven't read. So yeah.
Today?
Yeah, today. All right. That is Swamp Thing, Twin Branches. Are you all done then, Kirby?
Well, I got something for you.
Okay.
Shelly just wanted me to mention this for Jim. This is off from Vampire the Masquerade. It's Kindred, the Embraced. It's a 2-disc DVD set.
Did you ever see?
Cool. No.
Yeah, they had a TV series years ago. It was actually pretty good. And this is a 2-disc set. It was from 1996, but it's good.
I'll have to look for that.
Yeah.
See if it's on Amazon or something.
I actually think I might have multiple copies, so before you buy it, let me look and see.
Oh, I meant on video, Prime Video or something, but
Oh, yeah. He gets digital stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
fancy.
But yeah, one other one I was interested in was Conspiracy Planet X. It's a one-shot. Planet X, what truly lies in the depths of space. Is there more life than we know? So far, we only know intelligence and our not much intelligence. Intelligence. But what if there was another planet inhabited by other life forms hiding deep within our own solar system? What if it knows about us? Don't miss this shocking truth here. Or it could be in our own planet, because I seen on Bing today they found a structure inside our Earth that they never seen before. So they finally figured out where Hitler went and hid.
Sounds about right for 2020.
That one's got my curiosity, so I gotta check that out.
Cool. Jim?
I'm done.
Okay. My next one here is Voyage to the Stars #1 is from IDW. This one I'm very excited about. The hit sci-fi comedy podcast starring Colton Dunn from Superstore, Felicia Day from Supernatural, Janet Vardy from Legend of Korra, Kristen Vargas, Criminal Minds, and Steve Berg from Drunk History crashes into comics. Earth is gone. Only one intrepid crew of misfits managed to escape, now determined and ambiguously destined to stop a growing ancient evil from consuming the universe. Yeah, this is something that is in my podcast feed that I fell behind on, Voyage to the Stars, and I saw, I like a lot of those people I just mentioned, most importantly, Felicia Day from Buffy and the Guild and Supernatural and many Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. So yeah, now that I see it's coming out as a comic book towards the end of August, I'm going to have to jump into my podcast feed and catch up on that. So that's kind of a cool thing, and I'm very curious to check that out. That is Voyage to the Stars #1. David, do you have any picks now that you've returned?
Yes, I'd recommend buying one of everything in the previews catalog.
Okay. Who should we buy that from?
You know what? If you're going to buy one of everything from the previews catalog, go ahead and order it through Crimson Cowl Comics and Collectibles. I will put in that order.
Okay. Back in business. Put it on Jim's credit card, right, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Been too long since we've said that, so.
Yeah.
All right.
No wonder my bills are so big.
Kirby?
One last thing I was curious about was I've never heard of these before, but they have a July 4th 2020 celebration starter set. I'm guessing what it is. It says the special set includes one signed book, one variant cover, and 2 bonus books. So you must just get 4 random books. I don't know if they're July 4th related because they have other holiday sets. But when I was planning on order, I was going to get that to check it out.
My final two picks here to close us out. I have The Walking Dead: The Alien hardcover. This is by Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin. This is collected in hardcover for the first time. Originally only available on panelsyndicate.com, this oversized hardcover features a story firmly set in the Walking Dead comic book continuity by Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin. This is something that I remember hearing about. I never did get around to reading it just because it was one of those online comics that I just usually end up forgetting about. And but yeah, it's Brian K. Vaughan, and it's such a weird concept, of him writing a Walking Dead story, because Robert Kirkman, for comic wise, is the only one that has been writing those comics, and this apparently is part of the story canon. But I'm excited that it's available for a hardcover. So yeah, I'm excited to check that out. Brian K. Vaughan is a solid choice when it comes to the writers there, and just the concept of this book existing in the first place is intriguing enough. So I'm going to check out The Walking Dead: The Alien. My final pick here is something that leads me to speculate on something. I talked to some people in person about it, but coming out slated for, I think, October, November, is the X-Ray Robot trade paperback. Now, why I bring this up is because I had talked about a couple episodes back how I was donated to a Kickstarter for Han Allred's feature documentary for his father, Mike Allred, the artist and storyteller. And one of the tiers that I had pledged at won me the chance to be drawn into X-Ray Robot number 4, which ended up being X-Ray Robot number 3, because I sent him the idea, I sent him my pictures, and that spawned an idea that instantly he knew. He's like, all right, I got to put you in right here. Because of the pandemic, we had only got issue number 1. By this time, we should have just gotten issue number 3 at the end of May. But we have yet to see the release dates for issue number 2. But what was interesting in this current catalog is seeing X-Ray Robot, the trade paperback. But when I saw for October, November, I'm thinking like, okay, if they get like June, July, August, it'll be a quick turnaround for paperback, but that still fits. But then I started doing a little more research and thinking about it. I went to the Dark Horse website and I typed in issue 2 to see if they had any updated info, because they had the cover art, they had the synopsis, and it said, new release date to be determined. And the page for issue number 2 is now gone from the Dark Horse website. It doesn't just go up for an internet error. It still keeps it on Dark Horse, but says page not found. But when you search X-Ray Robot, you see the X-Ray Robot number 1 available for order and the X-Ray Robot trade paperback available for pre-order. So I started to speculate that they might financially decide to skip 2, 3, and 4 for individual printing and jump right to the trade paperback, which Marvel and DC are doing some of that with their digital first. There are some things like the Avant-Gardes that I mentioned that is not even doing single releases. They're just going for a graphic novel. And this is all speculation by me, just doing research. So yeah, just kind of giving a heads up for all those. We do have, some pre-orders in for...
Or
What's that?
Or the printer, while your page came up on the printer page, it broke the whole printer system.
Because it was so awesome. Yeah. too much awesome ink to
Too much ink.
So yeah, I was just kind of giving that out there for just kind of a heads up. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that might be the direction. I think we're just waiting for that announcement. I did contact Allred prior to this because I had reached out to him to see if I could purchase the original art page. He doesn't typically split up his issues that way, but he said if he does eventually do it, let's say nobody buys it, he said I get first dibs to go ahead and buy my art page. But I have seen the full colored finished page now. He did send it to me. Still not shown anybody, because it's so much cooler to see as you flip and get to it within the context of the story. But so yeah, it's possible that that might be delayed till October, November, and might only be available. So if you have X-Ray Robot #1, maybe it's a collector's item now because, you know, there will be no other issues.
That's
Right.
another possible reason that they're not printing the rest of them, because you keep contacting Allred and annoying them and buying everything. Anthony, why should I even bother printing all this and only making pennies when I can just get rich from him?
Well, Anthony is the only one that's ordering them.
So,
We got 65 orders from Wisconsin here, but I don't know. But yeah, it's one of those that overall it would be a bummer to not like have it available in a single issue. Obviously, I'm still part of that story, would be in that collection, but you know, we have yet to get the official announcement. But that's just me using some of my detective skills there. So not
So
looking good.
you
at the
might just
moment.
have to order 100 copies of the trade paperback.
Yep, that should cost me a pretty penny. So
Again, if you're ordering 100 copies of the trade paperback, that again will make the exception, and you can order it through us.
okay, all right, we'll talk discounts soon. But yeah, so that will conclude the previews catalog for those items that are currently out. I believe those order cutoffs are for June 23rd. So yeah, if you're checking that out, go online, ask your local comic shop, check to see if they're available. A lot of shops have opened within the last week or two, in which they're allowing, you know, limited customer amounts. They are, you know, doing the social distancing. They're asking customers to please wear masks, and they're still offering curbside online orders and things like that. So reach out to your local comic shop to see what they're doing now that those doors are open again for a majority of stores. So yeah.
Us, on the other hand, we don't have doors. We're open. We are
Yes.
open for business.
Open air market.
Always open.
Not always here, not always selling things, but always open.
take what you want, stick the money in the box.
If only it were that simple.
All right. Well,
Anthony, I do have a question for you.
yeah.
Since DC is not putting out a catalog or a magazine anymore, how do we decide what we're going to order from them?
Yeah, through the Midtown order, nothing's going to change for anybody there because you're just going to still see stuff pop up. I don't know if they have their digital catalog available online anymore, or yet, I should say.
Just ask for one of everything, and they'll take care of it.
There you go. So yeah, my option for those who are looking, definitely contact your store. They'll hopefully lead them. You know, they don't always have the updated information because DC hasn't been too, you know, they put their announcement out on a Friday, which is perfect because then they don't have to answer all the questions on Saturday and Sunday. But I would assume go to dccomics.com and see if they have that available to look at that. I mean, it would be very stupid if they didn't have that listed right there on their front page because you're not going to see that advertised through Diamond anymore. Otherwise, go to midtowncomics.com. On the top, you see a previews option, and that's where you can select and see all the DC stuff. A lot of it's resolicited, some with the Marvel as well, but yeah.
Okay, so you haven't seen a publication online or anything from them either, though.
And I purposely haven't sought it out just because being through Midtown, it's all just on there. So I basically, while there's a lot changing for the comic book industry, for distributing, publishers, and the stores, as far as on the customer level, nothing should change as long as you tell your store what you want. But yeah, so if you go to Midtown, you can check out that list. But otherwise, check out dccomics.com or just strictly contact your local shop and ask about how to approach that. And hopefully they have info on that. But so yeah, we'll see if that pops up. I was just actually gonna go to dccomics.com and see if that what shows up on their front page. They're advertising Harley Quinn. They have their HBO Max. They have something called the Pull List. They've got current books listed there. So yeah, right up. I didn't see a big splash page or anything like that. There's a subscription button on there. I'm not sure what that's going to lead to, but yeah.
Is it perhaps the pull list thing?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's like one of their. I'm gonna go back and click on that once and see if that's an option.
I see. I don't even know how they're handling stuff for retailers right now. I'm not actively seeking out the information because we've closed and everything. But as far as DC or Marvel or anybody else is aware, we're still in business and have a store. And we haven't gotten anything sent to us directly from them. And obviously Diamond isn't going to send out information. Diamond doesn't even send us half the information on their stuff, which has left us in the dark and part of the reason that we decided to shut down. But we're certainly not getting anything from them as far as DC, aside from the statement that they put out into the media saying that, DC, more or less blindsided them with this decision.
Yeah, I went through a bunch of little hoops here and found comics for August, and it shows 3 options. So I'm not sure that's even the right thing. So, yeah. For my own personal, outside of asking your shop, I just say go to Midtown Comics, and then you can see what's listed. You can grab order codes from there, and if you really need to, but otherwise just tell your shop, I need Batman, I need Flash, I need Wonder Woman, need Superman, but time will tell as
Yeah, I asked.
Say that again?
I did ask at Flashpoint, and they didn't have any idea when there was going to be a new DC catalog at all. So,
from my understanding, you will not see a physical catalog anymore from them. So that's what I had heard. So I think it's only going to be digital, which doesn't seem like it's the right choice because.
Yeah, it doesn't. It seems like it's going to be cutting people off.
Yeah.
Who use shops,
Yeah, so basically from all the different podcasts and shows and people I've been listening to, both people in comic book journalism, both in comic book podcast. Hold on, let's see if that was Brian Michael Bendis. Seeing if I can draw a page for Swamp Thing in the Legion of Superheroes, and he says no. Okay.
Archie style Swamp Thing cover.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, okay. I think I got my project for next week. Listening to a lot of store owners and stuff like that, it just, they're just kind of frustrated with the idea that they don't, have that kind of information, and they would have to go out of their way to advertise DC Comics since they don't have a physical catalog. So basically for any consumer, any customer, reader that wants those comics, tell your shop, I want these characters and books, and hopefully get that.
What are you doing?
Just moving the plugs around.
I thought those were a bunch of
He's so frustrated with the comic book industry right now that he's
cutting the cord.
Someone.
We got home late, so I had to plug the iPad in because there was no charge.
All right. Well, if I think that's going to conclude this issue. So stick around next week. We'll have another action-packed show here talking about comic book reviews. And this entire time, I've been full of guts.
I have missed pretty much the whole thing.
Get in my belly.
I am West Bend's only professional wizard.
And I'm Jim.
To be continued.
Katie, that was good.